You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the beat 105.5.
Yeah, Deion, man. Deion and them was talking stuff after the game last Sunday. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. The Radman is back here. George Radman, Radney, J-GILLZ in the house. BacSpin putting us on the air as he does each and every week. And we're talking about Real Deal Sports Show, sports of all sorts. We ain't telling you about what we heard. We telling you about what we know. Right, J-GILLZ?
Oh, absolutely right, man. And we know a lot that's going on this week in sports. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on my Miami Dolphins. We got sectionals right here in Section 5. Man, it's going down. We got basketball, NBA, and, of course, we got to recap that World Series. Man, it's going to be an exciting show. Stay tuned.
And I hope you took the money line with the Radman last week, because I was red hot. I told you take the Indianapolis Colts with those 6.5 or 7 points. If they had a quarterback in there, they would have won the doggone game. But they should have won the game, but they covered. We all made money off that Indianapolis Colts game. So stick around toward the end of the show, around 8:45, 8:50. We're going to give you the Radman, going to give you the guaranteed lock for this week. So stay tuned. We broadcast live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios each and every Saturday morning. Go over there, deal or no deal. Now they got a new deal said, hey, we're even pawn your mama. So, hey, man, if you got pawn your mama, going down to Rock Palm Broker. They all the way live, J-GILLZ, down there at 559 State Street. They all the way live.
Oh, man.
And speaking of all the way live, the Bills put the beat down. But let's get to the hot topic like we do each week. The hot topic, Tom Brady called Josh Allen a spaz. He said he playing like a spaz. Didn't I tell you? Can you imagine what the Patriots really thought of Josh Allen if that's what he's saying over the airwaves on live TV? He said, man, if Josh Allen quit playing like a spaz, he might damn be an MVP in the National Football League. What do you think of Jay?
Oh,
and speaking of Tom Brady, his baby mama's still on TV doing her thing. And then you got his ex-wife who he divorcing. She going with the trainer. Isn't she pregnant by the trainer, allegedly? His personal trainer?
Man, going to the comment, yeah, man. Tom Brady, TB12, of course, the GOAT going to talk his junk as he should. It's constructive criticism. We'll call that some constructive criticism on Josh Allen. So you're right. It's only you can only imagine the conversations Bill Belichick and Brady chuckled at in regard to Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. But man, to that hot topic news. Oh man, Radman, I'm hearing some crazy things with Zeal, Tom Brady's ex-wife. Man, when I'm talking about, I heard she's pregnant right now by the kid's trainer. The trainer, Radman, the trainer who was training the kids. Wow. He was training the kids, man. So yeah, Tom Brady got a lot more to worry about than Josh Allen's play on the field.
Yes, right. That's right. Well, they separated everything. That's interesting comment there. Tom Brady, man. Hey, everybody talk about TB12, but forget TB12 got the girl from Blue Blood. Homegirl, they're pregnant. They have a son that's probably almost grown by now. She's fine too. The sister on Blue Bloods, I always like her as an actress, and she's very good. But people don't seem to mention that she's a baby mama from Tom Brady. But like they do all the black NFL players, they always want to throw that in the air about what the black players are doing. But let's talk about TB12. You know, he calling my man spazzing out, say, hey, Josh Allen spazzing out. But at home, he did some spazzing out at home, man. He left out. They left out. I'm sure he's dating another supermodel or something. And she done went on his ex-wife or current wife is now down with the trainer. So man, that's a hot topic. Let us know what you think about it. What you think of that? Well, her name is Shanahan there from the show Blue Bloods. Matter of fact, it was a good episode on last night of Blue Bloods. They got 5 episodes left. They've been on almost forever, the last 15, 20 years. But yeah, people don't talk about Tom Brady in that light. But I just thought it was curious how he talked about Josh Allen. And you can't help but, because I remember being in the locker room doing interviews, and when they came in and beat the Bills down when Rex Ryan was the head coach, he said to Rex Ryan, he was in the locker room now talking to other players. He said, yeah, you see what we did to that fat slob over there on the other side, running his mouth. He running his damn mouth. Well, how did he go out? What did we do to him today? Beat him down. Oh, so that's why I knew Tom got a lot of fire, a lot of conversation. I said, oh, this Tom Brady a live wire, man. This dude, he be knowing when to talk and when not. I just happen to still be in the locker room talking to Chandler Jones, Rochester's own Chandler Jones, who was on that New England Patriots team at the time. So me and him we were done with interviews. We were just chatting it up there in the locker room. And he didn't know any media people were still in there. But he came around with Amendola and the other cat. Man, they were down talking big talk. Yeah, do you see the look on his face, man? I went by him and asked him, how you like it now, Rex? How you like it now, man? You need to shut your big mouth up, man. We came in here and put it on you right in Orchard Park, right at the Highmark Stadium or whatever the stadium was called at the time. Tom Brady brings a lot of fire, man. A lot of fire, and I'm glad he let it. So I know he said a lot more about Josh Allen, but than that spaz, getting back to that spaz comment on him. J-GILLZ. So we'll see from a commentary. Ernest Walker, welcome to the show. Thank you. I see you on YouTube, Facebook. Check us out. Subscribe to the show. She says, yeah, he's a son of the actress. His name is Jack. The young man's name is Jack. Also, Ernestine Walker, Nesta Walker is asking, why is Pegula looking for investors in the Bills? Why do you think that's taking place, J-GILLZ? And Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter is a part of a group that allegedly might have the front running to be on that. Obviously, they're on the list. Why do you think they're looking for minority investors, J-GILLZ?
Oh man, I mean, when you talk about minority investors, I mean, I just think that right now the Bills have been rumored they've been selling the team for how long, Radman? I'm not sure the Pegulas are going to even continue to keep the team right now. Right at this point in stage, with the new stadium, they was looking for if I'm not mistaken, the Bills Mafia in the Orchard Park community had some bonds into the new stadium. They're looking left and right for anybody to invest. There could be potential sellers in these next couple of years. I mean, the value of the team right now is probably the highest it's going to be with the new stadium as well. So when you're talking about them looking for investors, it's similar to how when they got Dan Snyder out of there and they had the Harris Group go in there and take over Bob Myers and company, and they did their thing with Washington Commanders, and look how they turned that franchise around. You look at the Buffalo Bills, I can easily see the Pegulas really ready to just be sellers and try and find that key partnership and that key stake into getting some more minority owners into the upstate New York.
Absolutely, J-GILLZ. You're all 100% on point with your response. Absolutely, that's what's happening in the National Football. And remember, Pegula twice now has been part of lawsuits against the National Football League or with racial. The one lawsuit is with finished with James Trotter for Pegula making racist statements then. And then when they had the kneel down with Colin Kaepernick and the players, Reed from the Kansas, Reed, who spoke out and said, man, that owner from the Buffalo Bills, when we went to negotiate about the kneel down and what we could or could not do, man, he made so many racist statements across the table. And he was talking about the one and only Pegula. Pegula made racist statements against the players, telling the players to go back to Africa and all this stuff. And that don't sit well with the other owners in the National Football League. And like you mentioned, the Dan Snyder situation, I think that's what's happening in Buffalo as well. They're going to get a minority owner in Buffalo and push Pegula's behind out of there. He's going to be out. Once that new stadium opens, I think he's going to be out as the owner of the Buffalo Bills. This is a nice way of pushing him out. Yeah. Of course, he'll unfortunately make more money for him being such making those alleged racist remarks twice. Is documented in that lawsuit and also in the players' negotiation during the Colin Kaepernick kneel down in the players' protests during that time period. Some of the racial remarks that were attributed to the one and only Mr. Pegula at the time. So I would not be surprised. Whoever becomes the minority owner, I think they'll eventually become the full owner. They'll just push him out, and the NFL will be glad to get rid of Pegula because he hasn't helped out. His wife was running the team. Unfortunately, she came up with an unfortunate illness, health issues. She's not able to run the team any longer and look like she's not going to be able to come back and run the team at any time soon. And Pegula will end up being moved out by the NFL and also by the minority owner process. Yes, J-GILLZ.
And it's unfortunate because when you're talking about the Pagulas, Terry Pagula, he's got the last laugh because he's going to come up billions of dollars off of this team, not to mention the stadium bill. You know, if they could have got him pushed out and got this pushed out further, then maybe, just maybe, this new ownership group could have advocated for the stadium to be built in downtown Buffalo. That way, the whole Buffalo economy, black men, white men, Latinos, everybody could have ate off of the stadium. But no, what they wanted to keep it in Orchard Park, as the mighty Oba has told us so many times, and that's unfortunate. So really, he's getting the last laugh, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and leaving the city of Buffalo not much of a better place than when he got here in Buffalo. They did put a good footprint downtown with Canal Side and some of the business in the downtown Buffalo. That helped the Buffalo area. They helped keep the team, the Bills in Buffalo, which is a great move. But keep in mind, Buffalo, new ownership. How much would it cost to put a dome on that stadium? Especially when the blizzard coming, you can't even get out to the doggone stadium. It's still only one road in, one road out. Where I was in Seattle, Washington last weekend, and right outside the stadium of Lumen Stadium, which sits next door to the baseball stadium, T-Mobile Stadium, where the Seattle Mariners play their baseball games. Go to my Facebook page, George Radney, Real Deal Sports Show. Check out the photos from Seattle. Check out my post-game report there in Seattle, Washington last weekend. Rainy and beautiful Seattle. Well, I love the Northwest. That first time out there, me and my wife, Dolores Jackson Radney, she loved it out there. Had a great time seeing relatives, the whole 9 yards. But right outside the stadium is Interstate 5. As soon as you come out the stadium, you come out, people inch out on the Interstate 5, and then it opens up into 2 or 3 other interstates that take you, some people going back to Portland, Oregon. You have a lot of people, Seattle is a regional team. People come in from Portland, Oregon. A lot of people come in from Canada, from Vancouver, British Columbia. There was a lot of Canadian fans, just like they do to come to the Buffalo Bills games from Toronto. They come from Vancouver down and other parts unknown up there in British Columbia. They come down to see the Seattle Seahawks play, and they get on their highways. You go into Portland this way. You go into Vancouver, British Columbia, this other exit, going the opposite direction. Then you go in other parts of heading toward Tacoma, Washington, in another direction. I mean, you got that traffic flow was easy. People got out of the stadium in a timely fashion. Once we were done with post game and ready to leave, there was no traffic at all. We came out, boom, jumped on it, headed back out to the hotel, back out in the Seattle, Washington area. This a 10-minute drive. This is a beautiful way it's hooked up. You're right next door to the thruway. If you had it downtown Buffalo, you could have been right next door to 90, getting people on 90, getting other people going through the city. And guess what? They got light rail rapid transit, J-GILLZ. Light rail rapid transit, just like Buffalo has, but Buffalo's only goes one damn block or one damn thoroughfare. It goes on Main Street all the way up to UB. Big deal, Buffalo. That was big deal in the 80s when the damn thing opened. But guess what? Their light rail rapid transit goes from Tacoma, Washington, which is about like going from Rochester to Syracuse, New York. Let's say an hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes away. It goes from Tacoma and it drops you off right across the street from the doggone stadium.
And don't forget, Radman, we were just in Vegas this past February, and they said they're doing the same thing. They built that same light transaction from California to Nevada.
That's right. That's right. They did. They said that at that meeting with. That's right. The Las Vegas people was telling us that at one of the presentations there at the hotel, exactly at the media center. They were saying that light rail rapid transit is coming to Nevada from California, bringing people in from LA, Los Angeles, and parts unknown in California to the stadium. Only Buffalo, the most backwards city I've ever been in. Mayor Byron Brown, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you running off to OTB like you done did something. You done set Buffalo back another 20, 30 years with that nonsense. You running. Didn't do a damn thing for the black community. Jefferson Avenue damn near looks the same as it did when you took it over. At least you filled in the potholes in the middle of the street and on the curves. But Mayor Byron Brown, shame on you for what you did to Western New York. And now you're running over to OTB and taking big time money over there after you done ripped off the city and ripped off the community and set the city of Buffalo back 30, 40 years. Because man, that's why we call it, me and my friends from Buffalo, I'm from Buffalo, we call it the B-Low. The B-Low, because Buffalo is below reality. It's below reality. That's why we call it the B-Low. Unbelievable. You're in a time warp. You go over to Buffalo, you're in the doggone time warp. Man, you said, man, They still watching Perry Mason over there in Buffalo, man. Oh my gosh, man. And I'm talking about their own one. I'm talking about the original Perry Mason, not the Ironside when he came on and was in the wheelchair after he got shot and he became Ironside. I ain't talking about the updated show, Ironside. I'm talking about Perry Mason. Hey, y'all old timers out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, man, a great show. But, man, that's the way they living in Buffalo, New York. But let's get back to the Buffalo Bills because it's a doggone shame when we go to out of town to all these other cities and see how they progress and how they moving their city forward when Buffalo moving their city backwards. It's a doggone disgrace, man, to see it. Buffalo Bills fan, Buffalo Mafia, they took the stadium over in the second half. They can tell you, all the people that go to Bills games from out of town or even the people from Buffalo that went to the Houston game, it was tons of people. Tell them how Houston set up. Houston got light rail rapid transit. They take their people to the football stadium by light rail rapid transit. They ain't all this outdated tailgating. They tailgate. They were tailgating big time in Seattle, but they tailgate downtown near the stadium. They go to restaurants, all kinds of restaurants and stuff downtown. The Fisherman's Wharf, Pikes Market. We went down to Pikes Market and hung out. Bills fan, tell your people when you get back to Buffalo. I ran into a lot of Bills fans down there on the waterfront on Monday, hanging out just like we were, enjoying the 5 different clam chowders that they were offering at some of those seafood spots on the water, and those king crab legs and those Alaskan crab legs. Oh, man, it was a feast, man. You talk about that unlimited feast. It was an unlimited throwdown. Ask all those Buffalo fans I ran into on Monday. When you get back to Buffalo, tell them how behind the times Western New York is. It's a doggone shame, J-GILLZ.
Oh, man, absolutely, absolutely. But let's get right back to it, Radman. I know you got some great interviews lined up, but this is the passion that you can only get each and every Saturday, 8 to 9 a.m. on the Beat 105.5 Real Deal Sports Show. You're going to catch the Radman. You're going to catch J-GILLZ. You're going to catch all these guests because we're talking about what we know, not what we heard.
Yes, and a big play in that Bills game Sunday in that 31-10 win over the Seattle Seahawks was Austin Johnson. We're going to go to the interview from Austin Johnson, and this interview is brought to you by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Check out Miriam Rivera Agency for auto, home, health, and life insurance. Check it out.
Yeah, Austin Johnson. I got Ernest Jones and a Rasul Douglas.
Let's go with Rasul Douglas. Excuse me. Let's go with Ernest Jones. We're gonna go with Ernest Jones first. He did a rare thing. He played the same team 2 weeks in a row. He was a Tennessee Titan a week ago, and then this past Sunday he was traded and played for the Seattle Seahawks. So he was beat down by the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks in a row. When James Cook ran over him at their goal line, and his helmet popped off and went out the back of the end zone. That was Ernest Jones IV. Let's hear what he had to say about this being beat down by the Bills 2 weeks in a row.
What was it like playing the same team 2 weeks in a row? I've never seen that. It doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, similar game. Didn't win both times I played them. So, yeah, it was kind of different. Playing the same team twice, but, coming in here expected to go in there and win, and we just fell short.
Did they, from football, you were playing them last week, did you have an idea of what they were going to do today?
Yes, they're not going to really do too much. The Bills, they want to do their best and execute at that level. They didn't come in here do anything special. Of course, they'd have special, runs or passes for this team, but, they come out and, execute what they do at a high level.
And that was the difference today?
That was it. They executed. We did not early on. Got into a hole, and when you get into a hole against a good team like that, it's hard to fight out of it.
Yes, indeed, and that was Ernest Jones IV, outside linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks, who played against the Buffalo Bills the prior week as a member of the Tennessee Titans. And I want to commend him. He took all the questions. The local media, after I was done with him, I was interviewing him first, and then the local media came with all their mics, and they jammed me up. I couldn't hardly get out of there because I was first. Nobody, it was just me and him talking. And while he was doing that interview, all these other Seattle people, media came over and wanted questions. And he answered every last question of the Seahawks media. So he's a real man. He stood up, even though the team, he lost to the team 2 weeks in a row. And I love his comments. The Bills are just a very good team. And, they're well prepared. And they just didn't make a lot. They had penalties. They had a lot of penalties. But they didn't make the mistakes when it counted, and their execution is second to none right now. They're executing at a very high level with their run game. Their offensive line just blew the Seahawks defensive front off the ball, and they didn't give Ernest Jones and them a real good chance of stopping the Bills at the line of scrimmage because those guys in the middle were getting blown off the ball left and right. Big Cat Leonard Williams on the outside was a non-factor because they ran the ball inside and they ran away from Leonard Williams' side of the field. So the Bills were able to execute very well and make those key plays that they needed to make at the time. And I just resent. Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, J-GILLZ. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that was a rarity. Ernest, that was a rarity. We also saw another rarity in this game. Josh Allen throwing his first interception. Not to mention, when you're talking about the Buffalo Bills have not beat a team with a winning record yet. What are your thoughts on this team and how that's gonna bowl moving forward?
You beat who's in front of you. You must remember the New England Patriots, who won the division for almost 18 to 19, almost 20 years in a row. They beat a lot of teams with not a winning record. Heck, it was a lot of teams in their own division, the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins, that didn't have a winning record during those years, during a lot of those years that they dominated the division. And right now, the Bills division is not their fault that the Jets chose to let Aaron Rodgers win that team and run that team into the ground. It's not their fault that Tua has been injured, and when Tua's not there, the Dolphins just is not on point. And the New England Patriots is in a total rebuild since Tom Brady and Belichick both are gone from that team. They totally rebuilt it. So it's not the Bills' fault who they play. They play everybody that's in there in front of them. That the roster at the beginning of the season, it looked like a lot of those teams, especially like Arizona. Arizona's playing a lot better now than they played, and they played a good. They almost had Buffalo beat early in that game. They were up by 10 points. The Arizona Cardinals. They're an up-and-coming team. Watch out for the Arizona Cardinals. They're playing some very good football right now. They played well against the Bills. It's just their defense. They got to get their defense in order. They give up a lot of points each week. So, yeah, the Bills haven't beat a lot of winning teams because, look, let's face it, J-GILLZ, there is not a lot of winning teams in the National Football League right now.
We had a couple opportunities right now, Radman. It's not so much that they were beating on the bad teams. They're just not beating the good teams. I look at a team like Houston, who struggled recently with their injuries, obviously Stephon and Nico. I look at a team like Baltimore. 2 games, granted road games, were those are opportunities that the Bills just have not capitalized on yet this season. Do you see that going to be turning around?
Yeah, J-GILLZ, let's remember that Houston game. That was all McDermott. Sean McDermott lost that game for the Buffalo Bills. If Sean McDermott can stay the hell out the way in close games, the Bills could go almost all the way this year. They got a team. They got some good backup players that can replace, that can sub in. If they start resting their guys in the next few weeks after this Miami game and after the Kansas City game coming up, rest some of these guys, you got some good backup. The Bills have scouting department, and Brandon Beane has brought in a lot of high-quality backup guys that can be starting. Van Pran Granger, the rookie center, they brought in from the University of Georgia, who they drafted high. Man, he's dressed every game. It's rare for a Sean McDermott team to dress rookies in their first season. So it's just it's a matter of who you're playing. You're playing a lot. There's a lot of scrub teams in the National Football League right now. In that Baltimore game, Baltimore was ready. Hey, Baltimore was going to beat anybody that night. They were pumped up wearing those all black jerseys, those all black uniforms. Man, they came out and just ran the Bills off the field. Derrick Henry, you gotta get down on Derrick. Did you see how Derrick Henry hit that guy from Cleveland last week? Oh my gosh, man, that's one thing in the press box there in Seattle. They got a whole lounge with 12 TVs, so you can see every game. So I got there in time to see the second half of the 1 o'clock games. So I got there around 10:30, 11 o'clock Pacific time, and I watched the entire second half of most of the games. Derrick Henry ran to just do a forearm shiver. The dude was knocked out cold before he even hit the ground, man, and he just kept running. Man, man, this guy is like a freight train, man. You got to get him at the line of scrimmage, man. You can't allow him to get any speed up and get through that first hole. I mean, he just laid that guy out like it was nothing. When they came back from TV timeout, they had him strapped on a stretcher tight and took him off the field by stretcher. They say he's okay. He won't be playing this week, the young man. We're thankful that he is all right. But he couldn't even give the thumb up sign, man. He was so knocked out, man, from that freight train hit him like that, called Derrick Henry. So the Bills, it's all about playing the teams at the right time. The Bills played those teams at the right time. McDermott screwed up the Houston game. The Bills really should have only one loss right now. In Houston, their offensive line is a shambles. The Jets took advantage of it on Thursday night. The Bills already, if they win on Sunday, the Bills move ahead of the Houston Texans already. in this just halfway through the season. So it's just how these teams are shaping up. I think the Texans are going to have several more losses, especially with losing Stephon Diggs like that. Too. When he cut and the carpet gave away, and then his knee just gave away after that carpet. You watch him make that sharp cut, his knee gave out, and it's a shame that he tore his ACL and he's out for the year. But let's hear from Austin Johnson, Buffalo Bills defensive tackle. Let's hear what he had to say after this in the locker room after the game against the Seattle Seahawks.
Can you tell us about that interception? How did that come about?
It's just right place, right time. Casey, we ran a pressure, and Casey tipped it, and just it was right there for me to grab. And it's just right place, right time. So, you got to make those plays.
Absolutely. I know after coming off of the injury, you starting to get your rhythm back.
Yeah, finally feeling that way, feeling comfortable on the defense. So just got to keep on stacking those.
What is it about this defense? Does it seem to be a complex defense, or
no?
Have
It's
you
simple.
played in something like this?
I haven't played in this defense, but
like corner
they make it easy for you, just so you get off the ball and just go make plays, have fun, and it's fairly simple. Especially when you got the guys in the room, they're easy to work with, easy to have conversations with. So it's a pretty awesome group to be a part of.
I remember they seen with the Chargers, and when coming here, was it anything what they said why they wanted you, that you would fit in? They had a good feel, but that you would fit in your skill set. Would fit well here.
Just playing ball. I mean, going in the year, this is the 9th year, so they kind of know what I bring to the table, and I'm happy to be a part of this team, and they just, the right place. I'm happy to be here.
Have you ever played 9 years? What's the secret to being able to come back each year, get to go through the training and get yourself in shape and keep staying in shape and be ready for that?
You got to take care of your body, whether it's whatever you want to do, you're going to spend money on your body because your body's your temple. So if your body can keep on going, that's the key. Availability. That's the key. Yes, sir.
All right, next week, Miami, you get the Dolphins back in Buffalo next week.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what we play next?
Yes, we play
next.
Yeah.
I don't look at the next week. Yeah, so.
A tight one to the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah, they're still a good team. So I come out there and do what we need to do, stop the run and rush passer, do everything to affect the quarterback and win the game.
There we go.
There you have it. Austin Johnson had a hell of a game. He came over from this LA Chargers. He was injured in training camp, but you can see now visually when I'm watching from the press box, he's starting to get his legs. He's firing off the ball. He wasn't firing off the ball the first 2 games after he came back. But the last 2 games, you're starting to see Austin Johnson get his legs back and starting to play good football. Casey Tuhill tipped the pass, Geno Smith's pass, and it went right to Austin Johnson. He had the interception, ran a few yards with it. One of the players came by, walking by as we doing the interview, said, "Yeah, he's a cornerback now. Now he played cornerback today." So he had a nice interception. Keep an eye on Austin Johnson for the Buffalo Bills. He's a guy to keep an eye on. He's starting to come around and play high quality football. And this segment was brought to you by MJ Dispensary, located at the Genesee Regional Public Market, 900 Jefferson Road, Suite 902. Go step on through there for all kinds of products, healthy products and products that can help you out. Cannabis-infused products that can help your joints out, your aches and pains, and the whole 9 yards. That's MJ Dispensary, located at the Genesee Regional Market, 900 Jefferson Road, Suite 902. Check them out. J-GILLZ, your comments on Austin Johnson?
Oh, Austin Johnson already know, man. Someone's like, that's what we play next week. Oh, we got the Miami Dolphins next week. Oh, that's what, man. You know exactly who you're playing next week. I don't want to hear that, man. I cannot wait for this game on Sunday. But I think he had a good game, and the Bills have done a great job in just adding depth pieces, making plays throughout this season, adding pieces. And I think Brandon Beane, again, it's like we talk about this every single year, right, man? The greatness of Brandon Beane. Financially, sometimes he don't make the wisest decisions with his money, but as far as acquiring talent, I think that he's definitely got a keen eye on doing that.
Yes, he does. And the scouts are doing a great job Malik Boyd, head of the personnel, Malik Boyd and that entire team are doing an outstanding job of looking and finding quality talent. And before we go, let's go over to James Cook, hear what James Cook, Bills running back, had to say after the game as well. Had 111 yards rushing, 6.5 yards per carry, J-GILLZ. Let's hear what James Cook had to say.
You feel you got into that rhythm early today?
Of course.
Contest.
Sure.
What was it when you knew that? When was it? In that first quarter?
First play.
First play? You felt this was going to be a good day?
Yes, sir. And just the film, just the film by you watching that whole week and just see how they play and what they give up. And that's what we went off of.
So much talk of the slow starts.
Did your offensive line get some credit for the blocking?
Oh, no doubt. They always get the credit for anything that we do. The touchdowns, the first down, they always get the credit. So hats off to the O-line. They played good. I'm happy for them. It's a good thing, when you got him and just more people to just look out after, and that's what he came here to do, and he's been here and put in the work. Happy to have him on the team. So.
Today, what you got?
There you have it. James Cook is funny, man. He said the first play of the game. I was like, man, he just knew you were going to have a big day after the first run. He did have a nice run on that first play of the game. Man, he's funny. He's a man of a few words. He doesn't have a lot to say. He shows his actions on the field, J-GILLZ.
I was just about to say, I'm surprised he even got James Cook, man. He always running away from the media. I said, oh, man, we got James Cook on the show. Come on, man. And that's good to hear from James Cook. And he's always having, he's having a great season. So definitely kudos to James Cook.
And he was very excited about how his performance. You could tell he was smiling from ear to ear. You don't usually see him smiling like the way he was, man. He said, I threw down out there today, and he was like, yeah, I'm ready to talk. I said, against me, yeah, all right, man. He's ready to talk. That's what time it is. Award-winning Mirror. And this segment was brought to you by award-winning Mirror Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call. Area code outside the area code 585-360-0094. The award-winning Marion Rivera Farmers Insurance Agency. She saved me and my family a hell of a lot of money. She'll save you and your family a hell of a lot of money as well. And now we're gonna go to the high school segment and get into the high school games and talk about J-GILLZ. We started out at the Monroe game yesterday. We have our guest as well joining us to talk high school sports. Bilal, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you gentlemen doing?
Great. We had some upsets last night in the games. We were at the Monroe game. We saw Monroe start off slow, fumble early, had behind a little bit early in that game to West around the court, and then they came out and then they just played power football and ended up winning 34-14. Your comments on that game?
What I love about just kind of the playoffs and the rankings this year, with you got Monroe who's moved up from Class B to Class A. It's added a depth, and with again, East also graduating and losing a lot of talent last year, it added a lot of depth to this playoffs. This year, this Section 5 playoffs. So I think what we saw last night is in terms of the upsets overall, is just that anybody can beat anybody this year. It's You got some teams that you may like or may feel are favorites, but across the board, anybody can you show up and it can be your night. I really thought Monroe came and stuck to their game plan, their script, and that's the key to winning. Is either you got to be a team who really trusts and believes in your identity, like Monroe. I was not sure when I watched Ronaquake play what kind of scouting they had done on Monroe. I mean, if you have a chance to beat them, you're definitely not going to beat them, trying to run to the outside. And I saw a lot of the run plays that West Ronaquake, attempted against Monroe last night were like initially outside. They were trying to extend and run outside the tackles.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with that team, you're not going to beat them, at speed and in a speed and skill game. You have to match or exceed their physicality in between the tackles, and I didn't see that from Western Wanaquaid. I'm familiar enough with or understand coaching enough that you're not going to be able to run between the tackles without trying to stretch or spread their defense a little bit. But when you got targets as big as Brian Walker on the outside that you can throw to, and Brian made plays. He made plays for them last night. So I don't know why they didn't make a more concerted effort to, if you're going to expand or spread their defense out to create those between the tackle running lanes. I don't know why they didn't make more of an effort to try to throw it to them on the outside. And then I mean, they got some good sized backs. Their quarterback, good sized young man. I don't know why they didn't, take those opportunities to run between the tackles a lot more, and not even on. I mean, it was like, again, they were trying to stretch run as opposed to just going right at them, and you're not Monroe that way.
Absolutely. But I think we got to also look at just the Monroe accumulated over 500 yards of offense. You know what I mean? Cunningham Jr. 250 passing yards. I think they ran for over 300 yards as a team.
Oh, listen, if you know Tajmir Mullen, that young man, if you give him a little lane, a little crease, he's going to – and as successful as they were in the first half moving the ball, it was really after, once you kind of get up on a team and they're starting to, you know what I mean? Like you saw kind of the wheels break a little bit. It felt like for Western Wanaquaid, you saw them, you saw Monroe break their confidence, break their will in a sense that, but again, in the first half when they were excited, still juiced up, they were competing back and forth with Monroe. And again, when you don't, coaching, I still feel like Monroe would have won the game, but Western Wanaquaid coaching didn't put them in the best positions, I feel, to be successful last night.
All right. Well, let's tell you what. Let's hear what head coach Terrell Cunningham Sr. had to say about the game last night.
What's the key to tonight's win tonight?
Execution. We had a great week of practice, one of our best weeks of the season. And we told our boys, you practice like champions, you play like champions. So we had a great week of practice like champions, and we just ready to get ready for next week.
What made it a great week of practice? What was it?
Intensity. I got to tell my coach, it starts with us. We bring intensity. You would think my coaches is out there practicing with pads on the way our intensity is, but the guys responded well, and it showed today on the field.
Great. And what's now going on for next week? What do you got to get your team ready for next week?
Same thing. Intense practices, very direct, understanding the assignment. That's it. That's all.
Coach, that game after players, what motivated? What message did you get?
A lot of my guys are intrinsically motivated, but for the most part, it's all about the culture. We believe Monroe, we the row. We're in Class A. Everybody's like, whatever they do this year, it ain't gonna be good enough. So as long as we believe in ourselves, it don't matter what everybody else think.
And this is familiar territory with you. Obviously, last year Class B, but I mean, this first section of win. What's the message going forward to the team?
We're not done yet. My seniors, I told them, we want to finish the season 12, 13 games. 7, 8 game season is not what we do at Monroe. We used to playing double-digit games, and the expectations don't change.
Absolutely. Great comments from the head coach. And you mentioned Taj Mullins. We're going to go BacSpin. Let's go right to the Taj Mullins interview as well.
What was it with you? Tell us your name first.
My name is Tajmir Mullins, and I'm a senior.
Yeah, what was it tonight? They needed your leadership, your running. What was it that you saw that you were able to get the ball?
I work out very hard on the offseason. I just got to trust my work, believe in God, and just stay poised and mature. I've been here before, so I just got to act like you. Don't get too frantic and just run a pill.
Seemed like you calmed the team down with your play, and especially in the huddle, and especially on your running, on those running plays that you broke up. Can you describe that last run, that run that you did, your last run that you did?
I just trusted my offensive tackle, Elijah Jones. He's very good. He's young. He's a dog. So I just got to trust my vision and just go.
And how about yourself? I know you look at college. You're a senior now. You're looking for next year. Will you have ideas of opportunities for next season? Looking to play at the next level?
Yes, of course. My options are still open. I just recently got a Central State offer, so I'm just looking for more.
Great. And anything outside of football with some of your activities?
I play basketball too, and I run track. I'm a starting point guard for Monroe basketball too.
Oh wow, beautiful. And what looks for next week? You're getting ready for next week's game.
Yes.
What's the team for next week?
Just hard practice and do what we've been doing all season, basically.
Go after it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for your time.
There you go, J-GILLZ. Your comments on the young man?
Man, Duda Mullins, man, one of the humblest kids, and probably in Section 5, man. He's a dog. He's a great player, and he's got a bright future ahead of himself, man. He runs hard, and he definitely is. He brings a zen to the team that just brings balance, peace, and just that grind mode. It's a great program that they got going at the row.
Absolutely. And Bilal, your comments?
Yeah. Again, I shout out to the young man. Yeah, I call him Duda. You know what I mean? That young man is a humble spirit, and you always want, and that comes from if you know his dad, he is he's well grounded young man because of the support he has at home, and I have such a high regard for him. Always been a mature, poised, humble spirit, and to see him perform on the field, you love to see young men like him be successful, because one, he does put in the work inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom, in the weight room, in the preparation. So seeing him be successful is, is just, you like to showcase those type of examples of young men for the way to do it and do it right. And I also, because he shouted out the young man Elijah, we call him AJ. This young man, sophomore, starting on the offensive line, and he is, this young man, that offensive tackle that Duda shouted out, has a very bright future as well. And I love what Coach Cunningham said. The class might have changed, but the expectations don't. So and that's how you come in, because they graduated. I think maybe 8 or so seniors last year. And I want to say 6 of them, I know all of them made all Greater Rochester first or second team, but I think 6 of the 8 seniors that graduated from last year were all Greater Rochester first team, including Class A co-player of the year, Class B co-player of the year, and their quarterback Kaya Moses. You come right back. You got, young Terrell Jr.
He was at the game last night supporting too.
Yeah, Pootie Cunningham. Yeah, I saw him rocking his Section 5, but and you love to see it, because him coming to that game and wearing his Section 5 champion hat from last year communicates, the message. This is the standard. This is the bar that we've set. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna borrow one of my favorite Mike Tomlin quotes. I know y'all was just shouting out the Bills. You know what I mean? But the standard is the standard. You know what I mean? And once you set the standard for yourself, that's the bar. We don't go underneath the bar. And you see that not only, again, I love to see that over at Monroe, and as you said, not a great team, that's a program. And there's a difference between having a great team or a great season and a great program. They've got a great program, and you see very similar over at McQuaid as well.
Oh, yeah. Great programs. That's right. And Mike Tomlin's a friend of the show as well. We've interviewed him many times on the show. So yeah, we love Mike Tomlin as well. So his kind of love his interviews. Absolutely. And now they look like they're going to play Brighton next week. A lot of people, even last week on the show, Brother Slaughter from the Democrat and Marquardt Slaughter from Democrat Chronicle newspaper have been saying all summer and season he would love to see Brighton against Monroe and see who would win that game. That's the game he wants to see, and look like his wish is going to come true. What's your take on next week's contest?
That, to me, that is if you're a fan of football, that's the game. That's a game you do not want to miss next week. Is Brighton and Monroe, because I don't know who ends up in the Section 5 championship game for Class A, but that would have been a game that you would have been like, I want to see that in the Section 5 title game for Class A, because you got Brighton, who's a powerhouse, and they played some excellent football this season. Monroe, who we didn't get a chance to see them play one another this season. Brighton beat Western Roddiquette in the regular season. We got East who lost, who beat Monroe. So again, it's you know, it's one of those styles make fights. One thing I do know is that is Brighton will be ready, but I guarantee you, Coach Terrell Cunningham and that staff will have Monroe. I mean, on ready, on go. That team will be ready to put it together. And you know, to kind of, I'm with you, George Radman. You know, the one thing we don't have to worry about with Monroe is like Sean McDermott getting out of the way and making mistakes for the Bills. You won't have to worry about that for Monroe. There will not be. This will not be lost on coaching. The young men on those fields between those lines are going to decide this game.
Absolutely. I just want to mention too. You kind of skated by it, beloved, but we got to talk about it. It was a huge upset last night in overtime. East versus Brockport. You know, I saw that game-winning field goal. He just hit the goalpost and it just bounced in, man. Deflated the crowd. What's your thoughts on that bad loss, but that tough, suspicious loss by East?
But so to me, it's unfortunate because again, you know they had much higher expectations for this season. But I'll say this: when you don't make the, you know, when you underestimate an opponent, and it seemed like early in the game that's what it was. Yeah. And you know, Coach Cunningham and Ty said it. If you don't have a good week of practice, and there's times where you'll see having those lesser, what we consider lesser opponents, you're like, oh, you know, we don't have the level or caliber of practice that week that we need to have, and those are the opponents that will sneak up on you. And I felt like Brockport was a game opponent, and they came ready, and so East had to do a lot to come back during that game to get it to overtime. And so, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate because they got a lot of great kids over there and a lot, you know, the seniors. But again, losing the senior leadership that they lost last year, and I think that's the thing that you have to also be mindful of, is when, you know, they lost Class A Player of the Year in Zydmir Jackson, who we know was phenomenal. But you didn't just lose an amazing talent. You lost a leader in that young man, and who also was became the heart and soul of your team. And so when you lose that and you don't have somebody step up and become that, you know what I mean? And I didn't see that the same way this year in terms of what are we and who are we following when, you know, when
and
the
Bilal, one quick point on there. When you have two head coaches, that means you don't have a head coach. Man, come on, East, wake up and get you one head coach. Two head coaches, I don't like the system. I never liked that system. It means you don't have a head coach. And for you to lose a game like this when Monroe went out to Brockport on their homecoming night, it was Brockport's homecoming night, and they went out there and scored 40 points on Brockport. Blew them out. Blew them off the field at their own homecoming. As coach, not head coach, but Principal Jason Muhammad said, why did they invite us out there on their homecoming night? Man, that was a bad move. He thought that was a bad move from the jump street, and it turned out to be the truth. And you get blown out on your own homecoming by a very good football team. And for Monroe to beat them in Brockport, and Brockport comes in and had like a 2-touchdown lead on East, that lets you know the coaches didn't get their plays prepared. East, get you one head coach, because with two head coaches, it means you don't have a head coach, and you haven't had a head coach for several years. And this proves the point today. What happened to you last night and losing that football game? Hey,
fellas, we gotta win some folks some money. We only got 3 minutes to wrap up. We gotta win some folks some money.
Exactly. We gotta win some money. And congratulations to the LA Dodgers on winning the World Series. I hope you went with me on the Dodgers, because Radman won a hell of a lot of money, and I was in Seattle, Washington. So I hope you won a hell of a lot of money with me last week on that. I'm going with the Dodgers, going with the Indianapolis Colts, taking the points, 6.5 points. They would have won the game if they had a real quarterback. They got a real quarterback in there this week. But let's go to the games, guys. Let's get to it. Cleveland is a pick 'em. The Chargers at Cleveland. I think I think Jameis Winston doesn't realize he's Jameis Winston one more time this week before he starts turning the ball over. They'll win the game. They'll beat the Chargers. The Chargers like to run. If matchups make the fight, as you said earlier, take the Browns in the pick'em game. They'll win by 3 points or more over the run-happy LA Chargers, who, to me, showing you that Herbert is digressing because now he's not allowing him to throw the ball, and because he's not throwing it 40, 50 times, he's not getting in that rhythm, and he's not that type of quarterback. He got to throw the ball a lot to get himself going and make some plays, and he's really showing that he's really not the guy they said he was all along, which I thought all along. Nice guy, very smart, molecular biologist guy, got a great mindset, but he's not. I didn't think he would be a good NFL quarterback. Take the Browns in this one.
What Oregon quarterback is, though?
That's right. That's right. Thank you. That's a good question because we see Mariota as somebody running around for some team now. You're right. They don't seem to be that way. New Orleans at Carolina. Let's take a stinker game here. I feel sorry for the fans of both of these teams that have to watch this game in their local markets tomorrow. The Saints at Carolina. Carolina getting 7. Man, hey, Carr's supposed to come back. I'm taking the Saints in this one to cover the 7. I think their defense have a little pride. They done got too old. New Orleans, please blow this team up. Please do something about your salary cap. You've been in cap hell ever since Drew Brees left. Why won't you just go ahead and just blow that team up, take the hit for next season so you can have some money in the books there. But take the Saints in that one. J-GILLZ.
Oh, man, I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins with the points. I got to do it. Towards the back. You know, he got that first game under his belt. Now he's going to be back. And last time he played in Buffalo, he played pretty well. It wasn't as bad as folks are saying. So I think that with Tyreek, with Waddle, with a healthy A-chain and running game, I'm a roll with the Dolphins with the points.
Yes, indeed. Man. Yeah, they do play well in Buffalo. I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Buffalo will win it because Buffalo's been up so high and been on the West Coast back home. It's really a short week coming back from the West Coast. My pick'em game, over Dallas and Atlanta. Take the over in the Dallas-Atlanta game. But my drop-dead pick of the week, when you saw a hell of a lot of money, listen up, everybody. Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers. Take the over. Whatever the over is, if it's 48 or 50, take the over. Guaranteed lock. Win you some money on that game. Guaranteed lock. Detroit at Green Bay. Take the over.
Buffalo's gonna blow out Miami.
Okay, there you go. BacSpin. I'm sorry, BacSpin. I gotta apologize to my listeners, to our listeners. I picked the Cowboys with the 4 points. I thought the Cowboys would do it. At least I thought they would lose. I thought
they were going to win against the beat-up San Fran team, and we suck, bro. That's all I can say. We suck. We sorry as hell this year. We'd be lucky to win 5-6 games, and we're not gonna make the playoff. I mean, I'm a realist, bro. I see what's going on. I'm not one of those Dallas Cowboy fans whose head stuck in the sand. No, I'm a realist. I still rock with my team, but we're not good, and that's that. We're just not good.
Hey, but you're still sitting in first place in that fantasy football, BacSpin.
Hey, I'm good. I didn't say nothing about the Cowboys. I'm good though. You know what I mean? I know how to pick them.
you sure do, because I thought sure they would lose gracefully, either win it or lose by 3 points.
I thought we was going to win that game, man. We came out sort of strong, I guess. I mean, we had the lead at halftime, but obviously you go in the locker room and come out not ready to play and get your ass whooped. And that's what happens when you have an undisciplined team, when you have an undisciplined coach, and when you have an owner who thinks he's all of the above. And we're just not a good football team collectively, and it starts from the owner and it trickles all the way down. So it's the culture of the Cowboys, and it has been for the last 28, 29 years, man. So
absolutely. And I like Arizona in the pick'em. My last pick, Arizona Cardinals in a pick'em game. And I like Tampa Bay. They may not beat Kansas City. They probably won't win, but I think they'll keep it close because Kansas City likes playing down to their opponents. Take Tampa Bay in the 10 or 11 point. If it's 10 points, take Tampa in the 10. I think they'll keep it close in that game coming up on Monday night. But Arizona, and my drop dead pick, Green Bay, Detroit in the over.
I'm sorry, man, I gotta cut you off, my brother. We gotta pay these bills, man. I wish we could talk football all day, but we can't. And we gotta go, bro. We gotta go.
I apologize. We gotta turn it over to you. Go ahead and do your thing, BacSpin.
No doubt. Keep it where you need it. Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on The Beat. We'll be right back with the Back in Time Mix Show on The Beat 105.5.